My name is Dmitry Nazarov, and as you can see, I'm doing some sort of events in St. Petersburg, for example, this one you're attending. And I will talk on the sort of weird topic, but rather important topic in my opinion. It's about how do you matter as a developer on the scale of the whole human colony, on the whole human race. Let's proceed with regular developer, which works in startup, regular one, I guess. And as you may know, almost all of the startups fail. But if you work in enterprise, okay, let me guess. How many of you work in startups? Okay, me too. How many of you work in enterprise? Switching. Okay. Any other option? Okay. Where do you work?
Unemployed.
Is that the option? Okay. I guess. But if you work in enterprise situation with your impact is no better, seemingly, because you're just a small cog in the machine. You do no change, as you may see. So, what do you do? What to do about that? And do you have any options? Actually, there are options, and there are a bigger scale, bigger image, and let me show you. First of all, there is great dangers to our human race, to our human colony. One of these is super volcanoes, and another one is atomic war. Another one is super bacteria, which can kill easily all the population. And another one is overpopulation. And this is just a few of the dangers to the human colony. So the obvious solution would be colonization. We need to deploy our race to other planets, other systems, in best scenario, other systems too. And this is the absolute must goal, one of the major goals which we face as the human colony. This is absolutely important, and the Musk understands that fully. He wants us to move, and he wants us to colonize space, and this is absolutely important for us. This is maybe the most important goal that we face right now. And the internet, the web, the IT technologies in general, and the web, the internet in specifically, is by the Elon Musk definition, the neural system of the human race. So we are, as the developers, doing the neural system of our entire race. This is very important, and we connect every human being on the planet, every device, be it router or mobile smartphone or server or cars or anything else. We connect everything about it into one network. This is a great thing we do, and for example, we connect people in medicine. They can share their knowledge better, faster, work together, cooperate, and this is maybe the most crucial part of the human race right now, the internet and the neural system. Let me tell you one story, one small example, how you as a developer can be valuable, can provide some change, can do something important for the human race in whole. There is one guy, he's from Italy, his name is Nicole Orochi. Who knows him? Anyone? Orochi, thank you. This is Irina, organizer of PiterPy conference. So yeah, he visited PiterPy conference, he knows him. So this guy, he worked in small company, maybe he owns one, I don't actually recall. And he wrote a REST framework called Pyten Eve. And it's very handy. It's actually a framework framework based on Flask, so it's Flask application, and you can work with Eve like you work with Flask if you want to. But basically what Eve do is generates the whole REST structure, APIs, versioned, paginated, whatever, just from simple dict. So you have settings. In your settings, you're putting your dict definition, your models, basically. And that's it. You have working properly REST API in just 5 minutes. And it's real Flask, so you can modify it like you work in Flask. You can deploy it like you work in Flask. So this is very handy. And nothing special, right? Just a REST framework, and who uses REST anymore? So this is the logotype of Pyten Eve. But then the guys, the ladies, developers from SpaceX got interest in that framework, and they actually started using it. And basically, the noticeable part of SpaceX web, I'm talking, if I recall correctly, the inner web of SpaceX, inner services of them, are working on the Pyten Eve. So the developers, the engineers in SpaceX got so grateful to the Nicole Orochi. So each year, they sent him a big box of merchandise, like T-shirts, stuff like that, posters, and on the sad days, he told me once, on the sad days, Mitya, I'm sitting on my desk and I hate my job. Sometimes it happens with anyone, but I'm looking on the poster of SpaceX and I'm helping the humanity to move into space. But the guy just wrote a REST framework. He still did the impact. But there are other problems like ignorance, authority, prejudice, which we can face and fight, and we should. There are, of course, cancer, there are Alzheimer's, there are medical issues, there are many other problems. There are, this is not one of the problems, it's just, I've included that image to show you that the doing fun and acknowledging and discovering new ways of being entertained, new ways to have fun is also rather important. It's not a joke. We absolutely should, and we would have fun, play games, stuff like that. So there are many applications of IT in general, and particularly web, internet, and this is great. We're doing great stuff, but many of you are seeing, many of you have a probably false idea right now that if you're just doing your job, just living your life, just, I don't know, drinking beer or something, you're not doing impact on the humanity. This is wrong. This is false idea. You are doing that impact right now, listening to me on the meetup, or later when you will share this idea, or, I don't know, every minute of your life doing every stuff. I don't know, okay? We need to get better internet, probably. Just a sec.
Not safe for work.
Okay, the left one was the Medium post, and the right one was the family picture. So your every every action of yours are moving the humanity somewhere. Whenever you're doing code yourself, or you're sharing the knowledge, or you're bringing new, fresh ideas. For example, the idea of Logax of Andrei Sitnik was born in the bar with some other developers. And while, I don't know, while caring for your family, you're doing the impact too. Your every action is good and great in that terms. So I would want to say that you're awesome and you matter, and keep doing stuff you love. That's basically it. Okay, any questions? That's very holy war topic. Let's discuss that. You were first.
Firstly, thank you for such
inspirational topic.
Fun lightning about like cancer and supervolcanoes and
atomic war and
all the human race. Yeah, it's really inspiring. And also, yeah, it's really like Hooliver-prone discussion because, on the one hand, I agree, like the small things you do matter. On the other hand, like you do know, right, that every code you write anywhere has a very short lifetime.
Yes, okay, but that's not an issue.
Yeah,
that's just how the things go.
Yes, and so what I instead want to propose is some form of like enlightened nihilism, or maybe some Zen approach. There is a practice in Buddhism when you do a beautiful, beautiful picture from the sand, and you do it for months, and then you just kind of blow it away. I think it really encapsulates much of like what we do with the code. We write some beautiful stuff, it works for a while, and then we kind of blow it away and start from scratch.
But that's not the case with the Buddhism or this Buddhism practice, because in that Buddhism practice, all you achieve, but it's great, but still, all you achieve is like mental things or stuff like that. But in the code case, yes, you deleted the code, but you solved the task, and you moved the project or something.
I think actually that makes sense, that was been said, because, I mean, it's cool when your code, lives forever. If you take a look at the source code of FreeBSD or Linux, the stuff that was written there, it's really, really old. This is really awesome, but don't write your code so it lives forever in a way that it's not usually the goal. The goal is to create a great product. If you make a great product, then your code will live with this product. If you don't make a great product, you will code die. That's the point. So code is not the first thing. I guess in a way that's the point.
Okay, the point of Lena.
I guess the way I see it.
Okay.
Right? More or less, yeah.
There was two questions there.
Yeah, thank you very much for the motivational speech about how we're going to die.
Sorry, just a small detail. I wanted a suit with sort of crazy color, but I couldn't allow myself to take a blue suit, because the blue suits are for motivational speakers, and fuck that. No, okay. I don't want to be associated with business trainers or business coaches. Or.
I didn't finish though. I
Sorry.
think the important thought about that was that we are inevitably going to die, and we should face it. And because this is going to happen sooner or later, somewhat sooner, we should really care about what we are doing, and we should care about who are near us. But my practical question would be a bit different. What differs if from the current standards like Swagger, which became OpenAPI, and gRPC, which we love because it comes from Google, and Google doesn't do anything bad at all.
You're mixing a lot of stuff together. The Flask is the framework, web framework, full stack based on Flask, very high level. So if the Flask or Django is high level frameworks, the Pyten Eve is super high level. It's based on Flask. And the Swagger you mentioned, it's a system for documentation. It's not a framework, it's not stuff like that. And the JSON RPC you mentioned, it's a protocol, I guess.
Yes.
So you're mixing in one thing: protocol, framework, and documentation system. Don't do that.
Okay.
No. I mean, you're nice, no, but don't do this.
Okay, I'll try not to do this. But the thing is, the idea behind that is that you have specification, high level or low level, and from that specification you get the working code.
Now I get it. You mean like in Swagger, you're writing spec and you can generate APIs from spec.
Yes,
and
yes.
in Pyten Eve, you're writing like description of the models, and Eve generates the API structure for you.
Yes.
But that's okay. That can be similar in a way, but no, that's not the same. At least one major difference between that is that in Pyten Eve, you don't see the actual, for example, API roads or something like that.
Is there any downsides to this approach? Because in the 90s, early 2000s, everyone in IT was happy with the idea of rational rows, UML diagrams, and the one beautiful day, we could all replace programmers with these diagrams we could generate, but it didn't work, and it didn't work horribly. So my question is there any downsides to the Eve approach? Is there something that it doesn't do good? Because it obviously does good a lot of things, but what are the bad sides?
It's good from every side, except, I guess, the obvious downside that when you auto-generate something, it's not very customizable, not suits for the complex cases, for really, I don't know, cases when you have to do your own logic. And with REST, one day or another, you'll have to do some crazy magic. And with auto-generation, you will just you will not get the profits of it. You will start to write everything by the hand, and why do you need if you can take the regular Flask at that point? But for the small APIs, when you need a properly working with pagination, everything, semantic linking and stuff like that, you will get the working API with if in like really 5 minutes.
Thank you very much for your answers.
Thank you for your questions. Anyone else? That was you. Yeah. Please pass the speaker for the.
Hope now to start hello again.
Let's start it. We're already on that point.
Okay, so you started with developers. What I want to stress is developing or just coding something is very different to being changing the world. So you put a good.
Sorry. Once again, a little bit slower.
I want to oppose developers just writing code for fun, maybe, to those who change the world actually. As you put an example of enterprise and startup. So in startup, you're doing something useful to see. You see.
You're doing something useful, but it will fail. So.
You try. So you try to solve the problem. You see the world. You see what it lacks, at your opinion, and you try to fill it. In enterprise, you often do what your manager told you to do. So probably you matter most when you do what you love doing, and not just developing, but being kind of your own product manager. That's what brings happiness to developers. So
that is very debatable, because I can counter argument you, because in, for example, enterprise, let's say one Russian company, they have mail for the users, and there are many users of that email service, and even small part, I don't know, like move one icon to the left a little bit, to the 2 pixels, but you're doing that change to the millions of people, and that is the change. And some people, I actually know them, they're real. They see that change as helpful as changing the world, and they love it. Because, and such people, they would never go to startup, because no one will see your changes most of the times, and why bother? They are happy in enterprise. So this is to each his own, I guess. I left Nazi phrases.
Sorry?
To each his own. Okay.
Maybe that's not exactly the point. I mean, for people who working in enterprise, I had a solid background in enterprise. I'm not satisfied with what I have. You can always find something better. So just not stuck up there. Find opportunities. And as you mentioned correctly, almost in every enterprise you can impact. Even in your company, if it's not that big or large, just try to find what motivates you, what you're passionate about, and do it daily. Don't think about it, do it. So that was my idea.
Okay, I agree. Okay, at this point, I guess we are already on I don't know, motivational simple phrases. So I guess we will finish on that. Thank you for listening.